All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shooting Light Side. As you see, we are finna get into the heat check. But before we do, I just want to reiterate that for today only, on this 5th of December, if you hit that link for fanatics.com and you can shop for 65% off site wide with the promo code Modelo, Modelo. That is 65% off site wide. The link is down below. Go ahead, get your shopping. You can get it by Christmas. Now, as you can see on your screen, the heat check is brought to you from the Big Ten, and it's the Purdue Boilermakers. The Purdue Boilermakers currently ranked fourth in the country. They are 8-0 and have the top spot in the Big Ten thus far, as we are getting really getting into conference play right now. But it is how, and here is why the Boilermakers are a part of Heat Check today. As you can see, they started off this season against Marquette. They took down the Marquette 75-70 with a good win. Then they hosted Milwaukee and they took them down 84-53. And Austin Peay, they took them down 6. But yeah, those 3 wins, they should have had at least 2 of them, you'll say. But they 3-0. But where are we getting to? The Film Like Legacy Tournament, ladies and gentlemen. They opened up the tournament against West Virginia, Press Virginia, as we like to call them, when they was ranked 24th in the country. Beat them 80-68. And then the next game, the semifinals, it was against the number 16 in the Gonzaga Bulldogs, and Edey had his way. If I can bring up the numbers real quick, because as you can see, that is an 84-66 win over the Gonzaga Bulldogs, correct? And Edey had his day. They handled business in that one. That was very shocking to see what the Purdue Boilermakers did to the Gonzaga Bulldogs, but they did their thing, and you cannot knock it for it. So as I look at it and try to pull up the numbers here, because I know I remember Edey having a double. That was Zach Edey. He had 23 points. No, he had 23.7 boards. That was about it. But he got help from Lloyd with 14. Smith gave him 14. First off the bench gave him 10. Drew Timme had 29. Hickman gave you 15 for Gonzaga, and you only got 11 for Bolton. That was it. That was the difference right there. And they just handled business. And then from there, you had the championship game between number 8 Duke at 24. And Zach Edey, yet again, was dominant in that game. 21 points, 12 was for Zach Edey. Lord gave him 18 points. And they held the Duke Blue Devils to only 36% shooting and 10.5% from three-point range. Dominant performance over West Virginia, Gonzaga, and Duke. Two of them teams are ranked, and Gonzaga being a top 10 team and Duke being a top 10 team. So that's 2 top 10 victories for them right there. And then obviously you see what we did with the ACC Big Ten Challenge. They went into Tallahassee and they handled business against a very surprising, disappointing Florida State team, which a lot of people did not see coming, because Leonard Hamilton has done a great job at Florida State, even though I am a Gator fan, but I tell her how it is. But Florida State, just a 1-8 start to start the season, is something that a lot of people did not see. 1-9, should I say, 1-9 to start the season, did not see coming. Lost their last 5 games. The only team that's worse than them is Louisville. They haven't won a game yet. They 0-8, and which is very surprising. But Purdue is handling business, and then they opened conference play against Minnesota at home, and they took care of business in Minnesota 89-70. And you can't be mad at that. That was back on December 4th, this past Sunday, on yesterday, should I say. And Zach Edey again being dominant. 31 points, 22 good. He had a 31 and 20. He had a 30 and 20 game. 31 points, 22 boards. Lord dropped 20 and 8 assists. Okay, your bench gave you 25. I mean, this is what these boys are not playing. That's why they 8-0 and ranked where they are ranked as of right now. And that being fourth in the country. And they deservedly so need to be ranked fourth in the country. And as you can see here, they have a nice one coming up in a couple of days. They should be able to handle business against Westro. Then you on the road to Nebraska. Should be an interesting one. You have the Indy Classic against the Davidson Wildcats on the 17th. That should be a fun one. You got New Orleans at home, FMU at home. Those should be easy wins. So you talking about 9, maybe 10, 11, 12, 13. They could be 13-0 when we go into the new year. And then in the new year, Rutgers come into play. And then the 5th of January, the 5th of January, you talking at the Buckeyes. And then after that, on the 8th, you're at Penn State. So you got some cupcake, you have some nice easy wins coming your way to end the year off. You should beat Holster. You should probably beat Davidson unless they reverted back to them days like Steph Curry. You should definitely beat New Orleans. You should definitely beat FAMU before you get back into your Big Ten conference schedule with Rutgers, Ohio State, and Purdue. And Penn State. So, but nevertheless, though, that's not the only games I'm looking at. Because on the 13th, you have your rematch with Nebraska. And then on the 16th, you head to Michigan State. That should be a fun one to watch with Tom Izzo. Let's see, can he get his boys back on the winning trail? Playing some good ball and whatnot. Then you play Minnesota again, this time at Minnesota, but you should take care of business against them before the 22nd when Maryland comes in, ranked 13 in the country. Currently, we'll see where they rank that when January 22nd gets here before you head to Ann Arbor to take on the Michigan Wolverines on the 26th. And your second matchup with the Michigan State Spartans on the 29th to end the month of January. So by the end of the year, Purdue should be somewhere at 12-0. 12-1, 13-0, somewhere like that. With Nebraska being that little iffy game right there. And then you got your matchups at the beginning of January, show you again between Rutgers, Ohio State, and Penn State before you get to the meat of the conference play with Nebraska again, Michigan State, Minnesota, Maryland, a very good game to watch. Michigan and Michigan State again. So Purdue was on a hot streak. They're undefeated. 8-0. Most likely will probably get to 13-0 before they really hit the conference schedule and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the next games coming up. Let's see, can Purdue keep going and can Zach Edey continue to dominate the way he's been dominating? That is the Heat Check, Purdue Boilermakers style.